My birthday gift to you, my most requested video. Hi guys, Disney's Villainous Prince here. So, Stitch crashed his way through Disney Classics all the way through 2021. The collection is now complete. Has been completed for the past 4 months here in the UK and Europe. And in this video, I'm going to look at the whole collection and see which ones are the worst and rank them up all the way up to the best ones of the collection. And then seeing what score out of 10, or possibly 11, the whole collection gets. It's been a tough job actually putting them in order from worst to best, and I've actually just decided the actual order on the actual plushes themselves. I will be looking at the pin as well of the month and seeing if the pin is better than the plush, if there's anything they could have done better to the plush, or is the actual plush better than the actual pin. But once again, the order is just based on the actual plushes themselves. So let's start at the very bottom and work our way to the top.
Hi.
So, bottom of the list, and my least favourite Stitch of the collection is this guy. The Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Stitch. Now, you'd think that because I'm a Disney villain fan, he'd be high on the list because he has got the poison apple, but he's just not. That is the reason. If he has got the poison apple, why isn't he in black and being inspired by the hag, stroke the evil queen? But it's not, he's just got this weird blue and pale blue colour. Where's that coming from? What am I missing with Snow White? I don't like the design of him. All these random flowers. You've got just 2 of the 7 dwarfs. You've got Dopey and Grumpy. You could have had the more of the 7 dwarfs on. Instead, you've got a random deer. And this reminds me of Snow White's casket, which I just think is weird. And I just don't like the general touch of him. Now, the pin, I think the pin's better because he's actually holding the apple in one hand. Now, here, he's actually just looking like he's sitting on the floor with the apple in between his legs. So, if the apple was actually attached like it is on the pin, it could have been a little bit better.
Hi.
And next up, it's this guy. It's the Aladdin Stitch. Now with this Stitch, I just don't like the material they've used with him. I just don't like the feel of him. Abu's hat, it's okay-ish. It's inspired by the Cave of Wonders because you've got Aladdin's lamp all over him with the purple pinkish smoke, which I do love, but the main gripe I had about this one, it's the design of him, because I had that one, remember, where basically Aladdin's lamp was cut in half. So if you've got that right in the centre of his head, and that's what you focus on, it's just, I think, a poor design really. And again, the pin is better because there's no flaws like that.
Hi.
Next up at number 10, this one's going to be a controversial one. It's the Sleeping Beauty Stitch.
You're not offended, Your Excellency?
Why, no, Your Majesty.
Now, the reason why this one is so low on the list is because of the pictures I first saw of this Stitch. I immediately thought it was something else. I thought it was inspired by Alice in Wonderland, maybe the Mad Hatter's Tea Party with the birthday candles. Because to me, the birthday cake is not the first thing I think of when I'm thinking of Sleeping Beauty. It's the spindle. So why wasn't the spindle as an accessory? It's not when you actually get this Stitch and look at it closely, you actually think it's something to do with Sleeping Beauty, because the spindle isn't in there, and it has got make it pink, make it blue, which is the argument and the reason why the separation of colours. But first impressions, I actually thought it was Alice in Wonderland, so the design didn't go that well to me, and it's also got the same material that Aladdin Stitch has got, which I don't like. With the pin though, again, Mad Hatter's Tea Party I'm thinking of. just because of the craziness.
Howl.
Next up, it's one of my all-time favourite Disney classics, so it should be high on the list, but it's not. It's the Beauty and the Beast stitch.
Touchy.
Now this stitch, I like the way he feels. He's got a satin kind of feel to him. Stained glass window effect with the rose. So why is he so low on the list? Well, to me, there's one huge defect, and that is the accessory, the rose. It is so flimsily made and looks a bit cheap, and it could be easily damaged. And to me, my rose looks like it's dying. And this is the main focus point of it, really. So that's why this one is so low on the list. And with the pin, you can't really say much difference, really.
Howl.
At number 8, we have the Peter Pan stitch.
It ain't good form, you know.
Good form, Mr. Smee. That's good form.
Now with this stitch, do love the fact that he's got the pixie dust effect, if you can see it in the camera. I don't know if you can because of the lighting, but he's got like pixie dust effect in these ears, nose, eyes and his chest. You've got the iconic characters like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan and landmarks of Neverland. But the huge letdown of this one is, why has he got these straps? These shoulder straps attaching these wings. Why couldn't the wings just be sewn on to Stitch himself? Just like the pin shows. So the pin is tons better in this one because he hasn't got the shoulder straps. The wings are actually attached. So that's why Peter Pan is at 8.
Howl.
Now I struggled with the next 5, putting them in ranking order. I changed my mind numerous times of which way I put them, and I finally come to this conclusion. So next up, it's number 7, we've got an iconic scene with the Lady in a Tramp stitch. We are coming into the good stitches, what I think are the best stitches. And now I'm just actually picking minor faults. With this stitch, it's the iconic date scene where they're having a meal, where they're sharing the meal. But that's the downside of this one, because there's no characters on here. And if you don't know this iconic scene, you might not think it's Lady in the Tramp. And with this stitch, it's the stitching. It's very clear on this one, and you can clearly see it, which I don't like. But again, it's a good stitch. But it looks like Disney have actually cut some corners, because if you actually look at the pin, he's actually got some pasta strands in his mouth. So it would have been better to actually see pasta strands coming out of his mouth, and that's why this one is at number 7.
Howl.
Halfway there, at number 6, it's the Lion King stitch.
Life's not fair, is it?
Now, I struggled to put this stitch at 6. I thought it was going to be top 5 easily. I do love this stitch, but we've seen this kind of like pattern before, this kind of like African pattern on like a Celebration Lion King plush that Disney Store released. And Nala and Simba kind of had like kind of similar African patterns, so we could have had something different. And plus, the characters don't really stand out. You really have to search for Simba, Timon and Pumbaa. Again, not a bad stitch. Just kind of done with some slight improvements. For example, when you look at the pin, we've got the Widgety grubs climbing down the stitch's face. So couldn't they put the Widgety grubs like they did on the pin?
Howl.
Next up at number 5 is the Pinocchio stitch.
Screaming in my sleep. Wake me up! Wake me up!
Now, this stitch is the only stitch in the collection to actually be the actual character. Yes, Pinocchio, the little wooden boy, we've actually got a little wooden stitch because he's wooden. Well, he's got the design of being wooden. We have got Pinocchio, we have got Jiminy Cricket, but we are missing the iconic blue furry. It could have been put at the back here somewhere. And on my stitch, considering he's supposed to be made of wood, he's got very flimsy ears. But because he's actually the only Stitch in the collection that is actually the character, that's why he's high on the list. And talking about the pin, it's just similar there, no complaints.
How?
Next up, this Stitch looks like he's been playing Mario Kart and had a banana peel thrown at him. Yes, it's the Jungle Book Stitch.
You have just made a serious mistake, my friend.
Now with this Stitch, very much a jungle theme to him. You've got the iconic characters, you've got Mowgli there, you have got Baloo right there. And I do love this snake skin kind of texture on him, on his belly, his chin and his ears. Love that feel. That's what put this Stitch up the list. Because it's a different kind of material that they've not used for any of the other Stitches. Banana peel though. They could have picked something else, I think, but because they eat bananas a lot in Jungle Book, maybe that's why that's there. But just like the pin, they could have put it off centre a bit more.
How?
Getting the bronze position at number 3 is the Pocahontas Stitch.
Still some snap in these old vines.
So this Stitch, inspired by the classic song Colours of the Wind, and that scene where the sunset sky changes the sky into pinks and lilacs, and you've actually got the leaves being blown across Stitch because it's this ear that's only got leaves in it, so there's actually been thought being put into this design. Comes with 2 accessories. We've got the pendant and John Smith's hat. Now there's only one little slight gripe with this one. It's the material that they've used. It's the same kind of material that they used with the Disney Wisdom plushes, and I think this fabric becomes a little bit bobbly over time. Just a slight gripe. And if you look at the pin, it actually comes with a leaf. So why didn't this Stitch come with holding a leaf?
How?
In the runner-up spot at number 2, it's the Little Mermaid Stitch.
Ariel, what are you? Jumping jellyfish.
Now with this Stitch, we're going under the sea, as is the Little Mermaid one. I love the colours with this one. It's got a great feel to it, very sturdy, very thick. All the major characters are in it. We've got Ariel, we've got Flounder, and there's Sebastian, and you've got a little few extra seahorses just there, and you've actually got the famous her accessory that Ariel wears at some point within the movie. No complaints with this one at all. The only difference is with the pin, they actually sparkled the her accessory up a bit.
How?
And taking pole position, and what I think is the best one of the collection, it's the Mulan Stitch.
I think it's going well, don't you?
Now, the reason why I put this as the best one of the collection is because, as you can see from the light bouncing off this Stitch, it's because of the fabric they've used. It's the satin kind of fabric they've used, and it just makes the colours pop. So you've got lovely blues, greens, pinks, and it's a simple design. So it just shows you that you don't have to put loads in it, as long as it's a simple, nice design, which relates to Mulan. You've even got a hidden Chinese message in there, which means Mulan in Chinese, and you've got Mushu at the back there. And with the pin, what I said before about the banana peel with the Jungle Book, you've actually got a little cricket there on the centre. They've actually put him off centre on the plush, which makes the plush better.
I got a new dog. His name is Stitch. That is the ugliest thing I have ever saw.
Now, as an overall collection, the collection is one of the best ones Disney Store have done in ages. I think it's actually on par with the Mickey Memories. Certainly better than Minnie Mouse's main attractions. It is better at the minute than Mickey Mouse main attractions, and definitely better than Disney Wisdom Day done, because that to me just flopped. But when you actually get all the Stitches together, yes, I might not like a certain few of them, but there's actually more that I actually liked and actually dislike, as you can tell by the little ranking video. But when you actually get them all together, it is a great collection. Now, I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below what you actually think of this. Did I pick the wrong stitches? Have I put your favourite down at the very bottom, or vice versa? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.